Greetings, core users. This is the 6th VJ.exe demo. In this demo, I'm going to explain how to use VJ.exe with tiled files. Up to this point, we've been working with one system in a single file, and now we're going to break the system up into multiple files and have some notation in there, which creates the complication that VJ solves. So here is the top three staves, the woodwinds, and we have some notes running on the clarinet line. And here's the next three staves down. This is the B file. The previous one was A. See, it's Q01A is the name of the file. And here's Q01B, piano and timpani. And here's the choral staves, which is Q01C. And then here are the strings, Q01D. Now, in order to set the VJ for these, we obviously the problem is we've got notation here on the violin staff, which may conflict with the notation that will appear above it when we print the score here on this bass staff and the vocal staves. And so the challenge is to figure out how to set the P8 line on staff 1 so that it both clears the notation on the highest staff in the file and also allows the notation on the lowest staff and the next file up from, touching the notation here. This P8 line is visible only when you view the file on screen. When you print the file, it disappears. But it is where the next file up will appear, where the lowest staff line of the bottom staff and the next file up will be. So if I have P8 set to 2 right there, then that's measured in inches by default, then that's where this line, the bass line, the bottom line of the staff line of the bass part will appear. But do I know whether or not this is going to conflict, or this down here is going to conflict with the notation that's on the violin part? Currently, I have no way of knowing. So the way that this is solved is VJ.exe will temporarily copy the bottommost staff of a given file above the topmost staff of the next file in the sequence. You then VJ the individual files with the copied staves in place. Then VJ will then set the P8 of the bottommost staff in each file to match the location of the copied staff in that file following the VJ. Then the copied staff is deleted, leaving this P8 line behind, which shows where the two staves, what spacing must obtain so that nothing crashes in anything else. And this is before any of the P14 or P13 or P15 variations are applied. I mean, they can be applied between the files very easily. And then the HS is applied by VJ on the entire tiled file sequence, and then you get the result. So let's go through those steps. The way you do this is you first process the 4 files as a unit using the P1 switch, which stands for procedure 1. And when you do this, then what happens is for the A files, nothing has happened. They didn't have anything to do. But the B file now has the bottom staff of the A file in it. See, that's the B-flat clarinet staff, which is this right here. There's a copy of it that's now been made here. And then likewise, in the C file, the timpani staff, which is the bottom staff of the B file, is now above the top staff of the C file. And likewise, in the D file, the bottom staff of the C file is now in this file. So now what do? Well, you VJ these. There's nothing to do there. Now, this is the magic. Boom. Now that's how far apart these two staves have to be without these things touching, right? And we could put P14 equal 2 or anything else here to make it greater than that, but that's what we're going to leave it as. And then VJ again. Boom. And then again, like this. Now, all the files have been VJ'd. Now we do procedure 2. What did that do? Procedure 2 removes the copied staves but then sets the P8 on the bottom staff to match the location of where that staff was, where the bottom staff line was. So now there's that. See, this is where that bottom staff of the B file was in relationship to the C file. And that's where the bottom staff line of the C file was. Okay, now, armed with this information, we can now do an HS in VJ. And let's, here we're specifying 4 files that make a tiled whole. Let's set the HS to 6, and let's see what we get. Boom. Nothing here, but there. It's now created an even spread. But what does this practically mean? Well, let's combine the files so we can see. When we printed these, you'd see immediately what would happen. But we're now going to combine them using the com command. Combine Q01A, therefore. Boom. And this is exactly how they'll print. When you use the combine command, if you have any P8 lines set, it will bring in the subsequent files so that they line up with those P8 lines. And that's what we've done. So this is exactly how it would print, and we've gotten the HS that we asked for, 6. And this is now perfectly spaced. So you can see this is how VJ.exe can automate the otherwise tedious to impossible task of VJing tiled files. And I will cover more of this in the next demo. Over and out.